What's up, YouTube Revolution? Zombfected Gaming 349 at your fingertips. Just before we start talking about the long-awaited Dying Light 2 Stay Human story, first thing you're gonna want to do is make sure you subscribe. And to get this seen by more people, I'm gonna need you, fellow viewer, to go to your local store in your neighborhood and show up without your mask, and tell them to subscribe to Zombfected Gaming 349. And if they tell you to leave because you don't have a mask on, tell them that you insist that they subscribe, or else you're gonna start zombfecting everyone in that store, and they will have no choice but to subscribe to my channel, since this is the proper way to help grow my channel. And ding that bell icon really hard so I can always stay within fast reach of your fingertips when new uploads arrive. So this video is gonna be a video about what we know so far about Dying Light 2 Stay Human. Dying Light 2 was announced all the way back in 2018 during E3, which is just nearly 3 years ago now, since E3 2021 is almost here. The game was set to eventually release in spring of 2020, but we all know why it was delayed even further indefinitely. So fast forward to now in 2021, a couple of days ago, Dying Light 2 did the Dying to Know event, which told us a lot of information about the game, about its story, and even open world. In Dying Light 2, you play Aiden Caldwell, voiced by actor Jonah Scott. The game also takes place 15 years after the apocalypse went worldwide into a pandemic, but also the game takes place 20 years after the events of Dying Light 1's Harran virus epidemic, since back in Dying Light 1 the virus was only in the city Harran, and the government turned the whole place into a quarantined exclusion zone, kinda like how Chernobyl was an exclusion zone. The Harran virus was actually contained, and eventually the Harran virus was stored in a lab, but 5 years later the Harran virus got out of that lab and was a even more mutated version of the Harran virus got out and spread even faster and eventually became a pandemic. Fast forward 15 years later, we are in Dying Light 2's timeline, also known as the futuristic apocalyptic time period that we all in real life don't want to experience, called the modern Dark Ages. The old school modern day society has completely fallen into ashes, and we all have to adapt in this harsh dystopian world and build over its ashes. So what I am meaning by that is, apparently there was a chemical that I think the government tried using to eradicate the Harran virus, just put it everywhere, and it eventually got into the water and made things not any better, but for the worst. And the land absorbed the chemicals and just killed all living plants, and nothing else could grow, like crops for people to eat and survive off of. But eventually, tall skyscrapers had a lush bloom of living plants, and life as we knew it on the roofs became the main floor, and the actual main floor became like a trip to the underground, knowing that the main ground was the grave to the old modern day society. Since living on rooftops became the new way of life, it encourages for more agility and parkour skills to make sure you don't fall, in a way making this feel like a game of the floor is lava. What we also know is the nighttime in Dying Light 2 is much more scary than ever before, since this game has apparently much more different nighttime zombies, which has mutated and evolved over the past 15 to 20 years since the volatiles in Harran. But we also need to talk about the threats of the day, the human enemy factions. So far we know of is the Peacekeepers, the Renegades, the Scavengers, and the Night Runners, also a faction that Aiden was also originally part of, called the Pilgrims. And last but not least, Dying Light 2's city finally gets a name. It's called Villador, and this game is also set to release on December 7th, 2021. Exactly 2 months after another anticipated game I am going to play called Far Cry 6, which releases on October 7th, 2021. But that's all for this video. Consider subscribing to my channel for more future Dying Light content, since I originally grew my channel back in 2015 with the original Dying Light, and can't wait to embark on this Dying Light 2 journey with all of you guys. And remember to ding that bell icon really hard so I can always stay within fast reach of your fingertips when new uploads arrive. Good night and good luck. Zombfected Gaming 349 over and out.
Run,